get that not everyone gets to live in a place where they have a fantasy garden with giant sunflowers and tomatoes growing in the background, and they're not living on 15 acres in the middle of the US in a gorgeous spot. I get that. But I know that wherever you are, if you learn to love it even just a little bit, you'll be happier. And I think I can help you. I'm Jackie Wolven, and I want you to love where you live. Come on, I'll tell you how. You may think I've always loved living here. We've lived here for 20 years. We moved here from San Francisco to the Ozark Mountains, and we chose it just as we had chosen San Francisco. And at first, I'm not sure I loved it. I was a little out of place. It's hard to move to a small town when you weren't from there, and it's even harder to move to a different part of the country or across the world. If that's something you've done, it's challenging. And so I haven't always loved it, and even more, I've gone in and out of loving it. So I get it. I get that you may not always love where you live, but what that really means is you don't love where you are. And when you don't love where you are, you aren't able to love the rest of your life. And so that's why I'm so passionate about helping people love exactly where they live. And I want to give you some tools today to help you figure out how to do that. You may think the grass is greener somewhere else. I hear that all the time, that so-and-so place is better than the place that you're in. But as a national speaker who gets to speak in communities all over the country, I'm going to tell you that no place is perfect and it isn't better anywhere else. It's different other places, and that difference might be a better fit for you, but it isn't better, not quantifiably better. And so that feeling that we have, I think of it as like a relationship. So, you know, when you're first dating, you might have 1 foot in and 1 foot out because you're not really sure if it is going to work out. And so why would you put all your eggs in that basket? And so you're always thinking, well, maybe this won't last, or maybe this isn't the one for me, or maybe this isn't my guy or my girl or my whoever. And so you're not fully committed, basically. And a place is just like that. You're having a relationship with that place. And so you have to decide, are you both feet in, or are you 1 foot out and 1 foot in? And once you decide to put both feet in, everything changes. But that comes later. There's some steps to do first. What are reasons why you might not love where you live? You might not love it because it's boring, or there's nothing to do, or it's too small, or too big, or too crowded. It could be that you are isolated. It could be that you don't have any friends. It could be that you don't feel like there's opportunities for you, or you don't know how to plug in. All of those things are real. All of those things are reasons why people don't love where they live. It could be other things as well, but those are the most common. That's what I hear the most. And there's always that feeling that it could be better somewhere else. But is it? So how can you do it? Isn't that the big question? Well, I have a quest that you can go on and help you figure out how to love where you live. It's very simple, it doesn't take long, and I think you'll see the simplicity as maybe too simple, but I promise you the simple makes it easy and changes you. So what is the quest? What I ask you to do is to go out into where you live. That can be your home, it could be your neighborhood, your town, your city, your county, your region, your state, whatever that means to you, and find 3 things that you love about it. It could be as simple as the flowers that you walk by when you walk down the street. It can be your favorite bookstore, browsing through the old books, new and used, and loving that. It could be your favorite coffee place. It could be the way the light comes through the window of your living room in the evening. It doesn't have to be big things. It can be small things. The deal is, though, is that you have to start noticing them. What makes life different for you will be noticing. And so I just ask you to go find 3 things. Maybe you know them right now, and you can just put them in the comments what those 3 things are, and I can cheer you on. Also, maybe tell me where you are, because I'd love to know. But if you can go on this quest in the next 7 days from whenever you're seeing this, and then tell me what those 3 things are, and maybe let it settle a little bit. And then maybe try to notice more. But for this quest, it's just 3 things. Find 3 things that you love about where you live. Let's take a second to talk about why this even matters. Part of our mental health is about feeling settled and grounded. And if you're always feeling like someplace else is better, it's hard to get that feeling. And so the work that you can do to help yourself feel settled and grounded in a space, connected, rooted, part of it, is important. It's not just about having pom-poms out to love where you live, or to have some sort of pride about where you live, or to make it seem like a sports team and you're rooting for it. That's not what this is about at all. It's a much deeper, intrinsic, internal feeling that if I can feel comfort and safe and I can love it just as I would love in a relationship, then everything I do in that place matters. And if things matter, then you matter. And I can't say enough how important that is. When I meet people who really love where they live, you can tell there's a light in their eyes when they talk about not just their place, but their life. And I always can root out to them like where it is that they love their life. And it is about place. And so this work isn't just to make you feel good about where you're living. This is about making you feel good about yourself. The magic of this is that it is like a quest. You are now on a quest to figure out why you love where you live. You have been put in the game, let's say, and I want to hear, and I want to know what it is that you love. And if you're struggling, tell me that too, because I'm curious about what the blocks are. This isn't about toxic positivity. This isn't about making rainbows where there aren't rainbows. I understand deeply that there are places that need tremendous amounts of work, that don't feel safe, that are discomforting, that are lacking beauty, that seem to be uninvested or de-invested even. The scope of placemaking and helping places prosper and feel good for the community that lives there is a lot of work. And so I understand that some of the places that you might be watching this might feel neglected. But even in those places, and I want to be clear that even though I live in a really beautiful place, I do, it ranks 50th in most things in our nation. It is a state with extreme poverty. It has sliding economy. It is de-invested on the federal level in many ways. This is not a place that a lot of people would think, yes, I want to live there, I love it. Now granted, the town that I live in, they do want to live here, and I get that. But it isn't perfect. There are problems still. And I think part of this exercise is to recognize that even in the mess, even in the problems, that there can be beauty. And I think finding that beauty is an important part for us as humans. We're inundated with bad news all the time. And it's up to us to try to find things that feel a bit like a silver lining, feel a bit like these things matter. And so it isn't about pretending that your place is perfect. I'm not interested in that. I'm actually interested in places just exactly as they are. And so this is more about you finding the things in the place you're in that you do like. There's magic in that for yourself, to understand that even in the mess, there are good things. If you've gotten this far in the video, you really do want to love where you live. So all I ask is that you figure out 3 things. They can be the smallest things ever, but just find 3 things, drop them in the comments, and let's have a conversation about mattering, that we matter, our places matter, and we can love where we live. Just to be a little bit happier, because isn't that what we all want? Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe, like, tell a friend, whatever it takes. Let's have better lives.